how to attract prosperity and success through positive thinking. What if I told you that your thoughts are not just random sparks of mental noise, but the creative blueprints of your reality? Think about it. Every decision, every emotion, every opportunity that has crossed your path began as a thought. The way you think shapes the way you feel, and the way you feel shapes the energy you project. And that energy is what determines what you attract. Prosperity and success are not accidents. They're results, predictable outcomes of a mindset trained to see possibilities instead of problems, abundance instead of limitation, opportunities instead of obstacles. But here's the truth. Most people miss. Positive thinking is not about ignoring reality or forcing fake smiles. It's about mastering the internal dialogue that runs your life. It's about consciously choosing empowering perspectives when everything around you is trying to pull you into fear, scarcity, or doubt. It's the art of mental alchemy, transforming ordinary thoughts into magnetic forces for success and abundance. We live in a world that bombards us daily with negativity. The news, social media, even casual conversations. Without realizing it, many people let this toxic flow of pessimism program their subconscious mind. They start to believe that success is only for the lucky few, that prosperity is scarce, that happiness is conditional. But what if you could rewrite that script? What if, instead of being programmed by the world, you became the programmer of your own mind? That's what this video is about. I'm going to show you, step by step, how to use positive thinking as a tool for transformation. You'll understand how your thoughts create your vibration, how your vibration attracts your experiences, and how mastering your mental focus becomes the foundation for true wealth and success. This isn't just theory. It's a powerful, practical system backed by psychology, neuroscience, and ancient wisdom. By the end of this video, you'll not only see the world differently, you'll feel different. You'll notice how your energy shifts, how your confidence grows, and how life begins to respond to you in new ways. Because when your inner world changes, your outer world follows. That's the secret. That's the code. So take a deep breath, open your mind, and let's unlock the prosperity and success that have been waiting for you all along, through the power of positive thinking. Topic 1. The magnetic power of thoughts. How your mind shapes reality. Every thought you think carries a vibration, and that vibration radiates outward, shaping the way you experience life. Whether you realize it or not, your mind is a transmitter and receiver of energy. The thoughts you hold most consistently, the ones you nurture and repeat, form a magnetic field around you, and that field attracts experiences, opportunities, and people that match its frequency. This isn't magic. It's focus. It's alignment. It's the natural law of resonance working through you every single day. When you wake up in the morning and your first thought is gratitude, your brain releases neurotransmitters that make you feel more open, optimistic, and creative. You notice things you would normally ignore: solutions, synchronicities, subtle cues from life itself. But when you wake up frustrated or anxious, your brain locks into survival mode, scanning for danger and disappointment. You literally filter reality through the emotional tone of your thoughts. The same external world exists for both states of mind, but your inner lens determines which version of that world you experience. That's why success and failure often begin in silence, inside the dialogue you hold with yourself before the day even begins. Science confirms what the ancients always knew. Thoughts create chemistry, and chemistry creates behavior. When you think empowering thoughts, "I can do this," "I'm capable," "things always work out for me," your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, chemicals of motivation and well-being. You feel more alive. Your body responds. You take bolder actions. And because your energy changes, your results begin to shift too. That's the mind-body connection in real time. Positive thinking doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means approaching them from a state of possibility instead of paralysis. Here's something powerful to remember. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined reality and a physical one. If you constantly picture yourself struggling, losing, or failing, your body reacts with tension, hesitation, and fear. But when you visualize yourself succeeding, speaking with confidence, walking with purpose, closing deals, attracting abundance, your subconscious begins to accept those images as truth. Over time, your behavior follows your belief, and the world mirrors that back to you. What you consistently impress upon the subconscious becomes your lived experience. That's why people who think positively are not naive. They're strategic. They understand that energy precedes outcome. Before any success is manifested externally, it's built internally through focus and emotional mastery. Positive thinkers plant seeds of success in their minds long before the harvest shows up. And because they water those seeds daily, with affirmations, gratitude, and disciplined optimism, their lives unfold in alignment with those inner patterns. The person who believes in possibilities always sees more possibilities than the one who believes in limitations. Have you ever noticed that two people can go through the same challenge, yet one crumbles and the other grows stronger? The difference isn't luck or intelligence, it's mindset. The one who rises has trained their mind to look for lessons instead of losses. They understand that temporary setbacks are setups for long-term success. They interpret rejection as redirection. They don't let external events define their worth. And that's exactly what positive thinking cultivates. The resilience to stay focused on what you want, not what you fear. When you choose your thoughts consciously, you reclaim your power. You stop being a victim of circumstance and start being the creator of your own narrative. Think of your thoughts as the paintbrush of your life. Every belief, every assumption, every repeated inner sentence adds color and texture to the picture you're painting. If you want prosperity, paint with gratitude, trust, and confidence. If you want success, paint with vision, discipline, and enthusiasm. The masterpiece of your life is not created by external strokes, it's designed in the studio of your mind. The magnetic power of thought also explains why you attract certain patterns again and again. If you keep experiencing financial blocks, relationship problems, or lack of motivation, it's often because your inner dialogue hasn't changed. You may have shifted your actions on the surface, but the core belief underneath remains the same. I don't deserve more. It's hard for me. It never works out. The universe responds not to what you say you want, but to what you believe you deserve. That's why the real work of prosperity starts in your thoughts. Change the inner pattern, and the outer results inevitably transform. Positive thinking is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about focusing your mental energy on progress instead of problems. It's about asking, what can I learn from this? Instead of, why is this happening to me? When you shift from reaction to reflection, you open the door to new solutions. You stop fighting against what is and start collaborating with life. Suddenly, people appear at the right time. Ideas flow easily. Opportunities multiply. Because you're no longer broadcasting resistance. You're broadcasting readiness. Every successful person you admire, from visionaries to entrepreneurs to artists, mastered this inner game before they mastered their craft. They trained their thoughts to align with their goals. They guarded their mental state like treasure. They knew that success is not just about what you do, but about how you think while you do it. And that's the essence of prosperity consciousness, the awareness that your thoughts are the invisible architects of your destiny. So ask yourself now, what am I broadcasting to the universe today? Fear or faith? Doubt or determination? Scarcity or abundance? Whatever your answer, remember, you can change the frequency anytime. Your thoughts are your instruments. Tune them carefully, and the melody of your life will shift in harmony. Because the moment you start thinking like a prosperous person, you begin living like one. Topic 2. Reprogramming your mind, turning positive thinking into a daily habit. The biggest mistake most people make when they start practicing positive thinking is treating it like a motivational boost instead of a mental discipline. They think it's about repeating affirmations for a few days or watching inspiring videos until they feel good again. But here's the truth. Reprogramming your mind is not an emotional sprint. It's a rewiring process. Your brain has been conditioned for years, maybe decades, to think a certain way. To change it, you must consciously train it, just like you would train a muscle, until new thought patterns become automatic. Every thought you think strengthens a neural pathway. The more you repeat it, the more that pathway becomes your brain's default mode. If your habitual thoughts revolve around stress, limitation, or comparison, your brain becomes wired to filter life through those emotions. But when you begin introducing new, empowering thoughts, something amazing happens. The brain starts to build new connections. It begins to favor hope over fear, gratitude over frustration, solutions over excuses. That's neuroplasticity in action, the science of how thoughts reshape the physical structure of your brain. Positive thinking, when practiced consistently, doesn't just change how you feel, it changes how your brain functions. Imagine your mind as a garden. Every thought is a seed. For years, you may have allowed weeds of worry, doubt, and scarcity to take root. Now it's time to plant intentionally. Gratitude is a seed. Confidence is a seed. Self-belief is a seed. When you nurture them daily, they grow stronger, crowding out the old weeds that once dominated your mental landscape. Over time, the garden of your mind starts to flourish naturally, and that new inner environment attracts outer prosperity. But let's get practical. How do you actually reprogram your mind? It begins with awareness. You can't change what you don't notice. Start observing your thoughts like a neutral witness. Throughout the day, ask yourself, what story am I telling myself right now? If you catch yourself thinking, I'll never get ahead, or things never work out for me, stop immediately. Don't judge it, just replace it. Choose a better thought, even if it feels slightly uncomfortable at first. I'm learning to attract better opportunities. I'm becoming more confident every day. Things are starting to flow in my favor. Your subconscious doesn't respond to logic. It responds to repetition and emotion. Feed it often, and it will adapt. Repetition is the bridge between knowing and becoming. That's why affirmations, when used correctly, are so powerful. But here's the secret. They must be believable enough for your mind to accept them. If you affirm, I'm a millionaire while drowning in debt and disbelief, your brain will reject it. But if you affirm, I'm attracting new opportunities to improve my finances every day, your subconscious says, okay, that's possible. As those new thoughts take root, your perception begins to shift, your decisions change, and your results evolve naturally. That's the gradual, realistic path to mental reprogramming. Another key element is emotional alignment. Thinking positively without feeling it is like planting seeds in dry soil. Emotion is the water that activates growth. When you visualize abundance, feel what abundance would be like. Peace, confidence, gratitude. When you imagine success, breathe as if it's already happening. Let your nervous system experience that vibration now. Your body doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. It simply follows the emotion. And when your emotion aligns with your intention, manifestation accelerates. To sustain this transformation, consistency is everything. Your mind doesn't change from one powerful morning routine. It changes from hundreds of small, consistent choices. Replace negativity every time it arises. Surround yourself with uplifting people, content, and environments that reinforce your new mindset. Protect your mental energy like a sacred space. Over time, positivity becomes your default setting, not a forced behavior. You stop reacting emotionally to every challenge and start responding consciously from a place of inner strength. Here's something to reflect on. You've been programmed your whole life by your parents, your culture, the media, your experiences. Many of those programs were rooted in fear, scarcity, and self-doubt. Reprogramming is your opportunity to break that cycle and write a new mental operating system. When you do, the outer world must update accordingly. The people you attract, the opportunities that appear, even the way money flows to you, everything begins to align with the new frequency you're broadcasting. And it doesn't take perfection, it takes persistence. Some days you'll fall back into old thoughts. That's okay. Don't criticize yourself, just recalibrate. Think of it like tuning a musical instrument. Every time you bring your mind back to gratitude, confidence, or faith, you strengthen your inner harmony. Eventually, you'll find that you don't have to try to think positively anymore. It becomes who you are. You've reprogrammed your subconscious to favor abundance, not lack, courage, not fear, love, not limitation. Remember, the most powerful transformation begins silently. No one can see the shifts happening inside your mind, but they'll notice the results. Your energy will change, your presence will change, you'll start to attract new circumstances without forcing them. That's not coincidence, that's coherence. You've tuned your mind to the frequency of success, and the universe can't help but respond. Reprogramming your mind is not about escaping reality, it's about designing it. It's about becoming the conscious creator of your experience rather than a passive observer. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned toward your highest vision, prosperity stops being a dream and becomes a natural consequence of who you are. You don't chase success anymore, you magnetize it. Because when your mind changes, everything changes. Topic 3. The prosperity frequency. How emotion amplifies attraction. If thoughts are the blueprint of your reality, emotions are the fuel that brings those blueprints to life. Your emotions are not random. They are energetic signatures that communicate with the universe faster than words ever could. You can say, "I want success" 1,000 times, but if you feel fear, doubt, or lack every time you say it, your emotional vibration cancels out your intention. The law of attraction responds not to what you say, but to what you feel. Emotion is the frequency that sends the strongest signal into the field of possibility, and that frequency determines what you attract back to yourself. Think of your emotional state as a radio transmitter. Every day, you're broadcasting on a specific frequency. Gratitude, love, confidence, and joy vibrate at high frequencies, the same frequencies that align with abundance and prosperity. Fear, resentment, jealousy, and self-pity vibrate low, attracting experiences that match those emotions. You can't tune into the wealth channel while broadcasting on the worry frequency. The universe is precise like that. It mirrors your inner state perfectly. So, when you feel stuck, it's not because life has stopped responding to you, it's because your vibration hasn't shifted yet. The power of emotion is rooted in coherence, when your thoughts and feelings are aligned. For example, if you think, "I believe I can succeed," and you feel genuine excitement about it, your mind and heart create a powerful electromagnetic field that draws experiences to confirm that belief. But if you think, "I can succeed," while secretly feeling fear or unworthiness, that internal conflict sends mixed signals. The universe can't amplify confusion. That's why emotional alignment is the bridge between intention and manifestation. To raise your prosperity frequency, start by identifying the emotions that dominate your day. Ask yourself, how do I feel about money? How do I feel about success? How do I feel about myself? Most people think they're being positive, but their emotional baseline is still anxiety or scarcity. You can't fake energy. You either embody abundance or you don't. So the work begins by shifting from low vibration emotions to higher ones, not through denial, but through conscious redirection. Gratitude is one of the fastest ways to do this. When you focus on what's working, no matter how small, your body immediately releases uplifting hormones like oxytocin and dopamine. You feel lighter, clearer, more open. And that shift in emotion raises your frequency. Gratitude is magnetic. It tells the universe, "I'm already abundant." And when you feel abundant now, you naturally attract more to feel grateful for. The same principle applies to love, joy, and appreciation. When you cultivate these emotions intentionally, your energy field expands. You become radiant. People sense it, opportunities notice it, life responds to it. That's why the most prosperous people often seem lucky. They're not lucky, they're aligned. They walk around in a state of inner coherence that draws the right circumstances without force. But let's get real. Maintaining high emotion isn't always easy. Life will challenge you. Bills will come. People will test your patience. The key is not to suppress negative emotions, but to move through them consciously. Feel them, understand their message, and release them before they take root. The longer you dwell on anger or fear, the more energy you give to that frequency, and that energy starts shaping your reality. So when frustration arises, take a breath. Step back, ask, what emotion would serve me better right now? Then shift intentionally, even if only slightly, toward gratitude, curiosity, or hope. That small adjustment begins to recalibrate your entire vibration. Visualization also amplifies emotion. When you close your eyes and see yourself thriving, succeeding, smiling, helping others, living with purpose, your brain lights up as if it's happening now. Add emotion to that image, and you create a powerful energetic imprint in the quantum field. The more you practice it, the more you condition your nervous system to operate at that higher vibration. It becomes your new normal. You stop waiting for success to make you feel good and start feeling good to attract success. That's the real inversion of power. Emotion first, manifestation second. Another overlooked truth is that prosperity loves joy. Many people pursue success from a place of pressure, desperation, or fear of failure. They grind, they hustle, they force. But forced energy repels flow. Joy, on the other hand, opens the channel for abundance to move freely. When you do what excites you, when you express your creativity, when you appreciate the beauty of life, you align with the natural rhythm of abundance. Prosperity flows through joy because joy is the expression of alignment. So, how do you sustain this prosperity frequency? Through daily emotional hygiene. Just as you brush your teeth to maintain physical health, you must cleanse your emotional energy. Meditate, journal, move your body, spend time in nature, connect with uplifting people. Guard your vibration like the precious currency it is. Every time you choose peace over drama, faith over fear, gratitude over complaint, you raise your signal. And that higher signal attracts experiences that match its frequency, effortlessly. Remember, emotion is energy in motion. When you master that motion, you master manifestation. You no longer wait for life to make you feel abundant. You feel abundant first, and life mirrors that back. Prosperity isn't about chasing money or success, it's about becoming a match for them. The more love, joy, gratitude, and confidence you emit, the more the universe responds with circumstances that reflect those emotions. In the end, it's not about forcing results, it's about embodying the vibration that makes results inevitable. You don't need to shout your affirmations into the universe, you just need to feel them deeply, consistently, and authentically. Because once your emotions align with your highest vision, you don't have to chase prosperity. It starts chasing you. Topic 4. Breaking the scarcity mindset. Escaping the mental trap that blocks abundance. The greatest barrier to prosperity isn't lack of opportunity, it's the belief that there isn't enough. The scarcity mindset is one of the most powerful mental prisons people live in without realizing it. It whispers in your ear that there's not enough money, not enough time, not enough luck, not enough talent. It makes you see life as a competition, not creation, as survival, not expansion. When you live with this belief, every decision you make is rooted in fear. You hold back, you hesitate, you shrink your dreams to fit your comfort zone, and in doing so, you reinforce the very limitation you're trying to escape. Scarcity is not an external condition, it's an internal perspective. Two people can live in the same economy, with the same resources, and yet one will see opportunity everywhere while the other sees obstacles. The difference is focus. A scarcity thinker looks at what's missing. An abundance thinker looks at what's possible. The moment you start focusing on lack, you amplify it, because your mind is a magnifying glass. Whatever you focus on expands. That's why breaking the scarcity mindset begins with one simple but profound decision: to shift from fear of not having to faith in becoming. Think about how scarcity sneaks into everyday life. You might tell yourself, I can't afford to take that risk. Or, there aren't enough clients out there. Or, it's too late for me to succeed. Each of these thoughts creates a wall between you and abundance. But here's the truth. Abundance doesn't come from what's outside. It comes from what you cultivate inside. When you believe that opportunities are infinite, your mind becomes creative, curious, and courageous. You stop guarding what little you have and start generating more. You stop chasing and start attracting. The scarcity mindset also thrives on comparison. When you look at others and think, they have what I don't, you immediately lower your vibration. Envy is the emotion of lack. Gratitude is the emotion of plenty. The moment you shift from jealousy to inspiration, you open the door to abundance. Instead of asking, why not me? Ask, how can I learn from them? The world stops feeling like a pie with limited slices. You realize the universe doesn't run out of opportunities. It expands with every person who dares to grow. Someone else's success doesn't take away from yours, it proves what's possible for you. To break free from scarcity, you must retrain your mind to see evidence of abundance everywhere. Look around. The air you breathe is infinite. The ideas you can create are infinite. The love you can give and receive is infinite. Nature itself is a constant demonstration of overflow. Trees produce more leaves than they need. Rivers never stop flowing. The sun rises every day without asking for permission. The universe doesn't operate with limitation, only human consciousness does. The more you align with that truth, the more prosperity flows naturally into your life. One of the biggest signs of a scarcity mindset is fear of letting go. People who live in fear of lack cling to what they have, relationships, possessions, even outdated beliefs, because they're afraid there won't be more. But abundance requires flow. Money, love, and success are energies that move. When you hoard, you block the current. When you share, invest, or give with trust, you signal to the universe that you believe in circulation. That belief multiplies what you give. It's the paradox of abundance. The more you give, the more you receive, because giving proves that you trust there will always be enough. The scarcity mindset also limits your creativity. When you think in terms of not enough, your brain shuts down innovative thinking. You play small because you're afraid to fail, but failure is simply feedback, a redirection, not rejection. Abundance thinkers understand this. They don't see resources as finite. They see potential as limitless. They ask bigger questions. How can I expand? How can I create more value? How can I serve others while prospering myself? This shift in focus transforms your energy from anxiety to action, from survival to creation. Breaking the scarcity mindset is not about ignoring reality. It's about redefining it. Yes, challenges exist, but scarcity thinking keeps you trapped in reaction mode, while abundance thinking moves you into creative mode. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," ask, "How can I make it possible?" Instead of thinking, "There's no opportunity," ask, "Where could opportunity be hiding?" Those small shifts change the chemistry of your brain. They activate curiosity, imagination, and courage, the exact ingredients abundance requires. Every time you choose faith over fear, you reprogram your subconscious. You start trusting in a bigger rhythm, one where everything you need arrives when you're aligned with it. Prosperity doesn't rush, it flows. It responds to the frequency of trust. When you stop clinging to scarcity, life begins to surprise you with synchronicities, unexpected opportunities, generous people, lucky breaks. They were always there, but your old mindset couldn't see them. Now, you can. The final step to dissolving scarcity is gratitude. Gratitude closes the gap between what you want and what you already have. It tells your mind, "I'm already blessed," and that message instantly elevates your vibration. Gratitude transforms fear into faith, stress into serenity, and lack into contentment. When you wake up grateful for the simplest things, your breath, your body, your mind, your possibilities, you set the tone for abundance to enter your day. Gratitude doesn't just make you feel good, it makes you magnetic. Remember, abundance is not something you chase, it's something you allow. It begins with a mindset that says, "There's enough for me, for you, for everyone." The moment you embody that truth, scarcity loses its grip on you. You stop competing and start collaborating. You stop fearing loss and start expecting gain. You realize that prosperity isn't a distant goal, it's a natural state of consciousness. And once your mind expands to that level, it can never shrink back again. Topic 5. Wealth consciousness, training your mind to think like prosperity. Wealth is not just about money, it's a state of consciousness. It's the awareness that you are the source of value, not just the receiver of it. When you develop wealth consciousness, you stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like a creator. You no longer see yourself as someone chasing success, but as someone generating it from within. True prosperity begins the moment you shift your mindset from "How do I get more?" to "How can I become more?" Money is simply energy in motion. It flows toward clarity, confidence, and contribution. That's why people who embody wealth consciousness seem to attract opportunities effortlessly. Not because they're luckier, but because their energy and mindset align with abundance. They think differently. They don't see spending as loss. They see it as circulation. They don't focus on what something costs. They focus on what it creates. When you live from that mindset, money stops controlling you. It becomes your ally, not your master. But to reach that level of awareness, you must first release the mental programs you inherited about money. Most people grew up hearing phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," "You have to work hard for every penny," or "Rich people are greedy." Those messages may sound harmless, but they planted seeds of guilt and limitation in your subconscious. Without realizing it, you might still be carrying beliefs that sabotage your prosperity. Beliefs that say abundance is dangerous, success is selfish, or wealth requires struggle. Wealth consciousness begins when you question those old beliefs and replace them with empowering truths. Start by realizing that money itself is neutral. It's neither good nor bad. It simply amplifies who you are. If you're generous, it expands your generosity. If you're fearful, it magnifies your fear. The problem isn't money. It's the meaning we attach to it. The wealthy don't worship money. They understand it. They respect it as a tool for creation, growth, and service. When you stop judging money and start seeing it as energy responding to your beliefs, you take back your power. You stop repelling abundance with guilt and begin attracting it with purpose. Wealth consciousness is also about awareness, knowing how you think, feel, and act around money. When you receive it, do you feel grateful or guilty? When you spend it, do you feel expansive or anxious? When you think about wealth, do you feel inspired or intimidated? Those emotions reveal your financial vibration. To raise it, you must change your relationship with money from tension to trust. Instead of worrying about not having enough, affirm that there's always more flowing in. Instead of fearing bills, bless them as proof that you're part of the cycle of energy exchange. Wealth thinkers understand that abundance expands through value creation. They focus on solving problems, serving others, and improving lives. They ask, how can I make my presence more valuable to the world? That question alone unlocks creativity and magnetism. When your intention is to serve, wealth naturally follows, because the universe rewards contribution. You can't outgive abundance. Every time you add genuine value, you open another channel for prosperity to return to you. Another trait of wealth consciousness is long-term thinking. People with scarcity mindsets focus on immediate comfort, instant gratification, short-term gains. Wealth-conscious individuals play the infinite game. They invest, they plant seeds, they think in decades. They know that true wealth isn't measured by possessions, but by freedom. The freedom to create, to choose, to give, to live on purpose. They build wealth not just for themselves, but for others, for generations, for impact. To cultivate wealth consciousness, you must practice daily gratitude and visualization. Gratitude keeps your energy high. Visualization programs your subconscious. See yourself managing money with confidence, attracting new opportunities, making wise decisions. Feel the security, freedom, and joy that wealth brings. Not someday, but now. When you feel rich before you are rich, you create the vibration that draws financial abundance to you. Your subconscious begins aligning with that image and guiding your actions accordingly. The truth is, money doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to direction. When you think clearly, act purposefully, and operate with faith, prosperity flows. The people who seem to always have opportunities aren't lucky. They're mentally and emotionally tuned to recognize them. They expect good things to happen. They're open to receiving. They understand that wealth isn't something you chase, it's something you align with. When your thoughts about money shift from fear to faith, from guilt to gratitude, from lack to creation, your entire experience of prosperity transforms. You begin to think, feel, and act like wealth itself, abundant, generous, confident, free. And when you think like wealth, you become a magnet for it. So remember, the path to prosperity is not paved with stress, but with consciousness. Expand your awareness, purify your beliefs, and align your emotions with abundance. When your inner wealth grows, your outer world can't help but follow. Because money is not the goal, consciousness is. And when you master that, wealth becomes not just what you have, but who you are. Topic 6. The prosperity habit. Loop. Daily actions that rewire wealth thinking. Your mindset creates your reality, but your habits shape your mindset. You can read every book on success, visualize abundance, repeat affirmations, and still feel stuck if your daily behaviors contradict the mindset you're trying to build. Prosperity isn't created by one grand decision. It's built through small, consistent actions that align your thoughts, emotions, and behavior. Every day, you're reinforcing either a scarcity loop or a prosperity loop, and the difference between the two determines your results. The prosperity habit loop begins the moment you wake up. The first thoughts you allow into your mind set the tone for your vibration. Do you start your morning checking your phone, comparing your life to others, and reacting to the world? Or do you take a few moments to center yourself, breathe deeply, and choose your state intentionally? Prosperous thinkers don't wait for motivation. They create it. They start each day by aligning their mind with gratitude, purpose, and possibility. That single morning ritual rewires the brain toward optimism and opportunity. Science shows that the brain loves patterns. It seeks predictability. If you repeat the same disempowering habits, complaining, procrastinating, doubting, your mind memorizes those states as normal. But when you intentionally repeat empowering habits, gratitude, focus, self-discipline, you reprogram your subconscious. Over time, your default thoughts become supportive instead of sabotaging. That's why discipline isn't punishment. It's liberation. Every time you choose a higher thought or a better action, you're training your brain to favor prosperity over limitation. One of the simplest yet most powerful prosperity habits is gratitude journaling. Spend 5 minutes each morning writing down 3 things you're thankful for, and truly feel the emotion of appreciation. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's working. It expands your awareness of abundance. When your mind is tuned to gratitude, opportunities reveal themselves naturally because your brain's reticular activating system, the part that filters information, begins to highlight everything that matches your new vibration. Gratitude doesn't just make you feel better, it literally changes what you see. Another essential habit is visualization. Each day, close your eyes and see your goals as already accomplished. Feel the satisfaction, peace, and joy of success before it happens. This isn't daydreaming, it's mental rehearsal. Elite athletes, visionary entrepreneurs, and high performers across every field use visualization to prime their brains for achievement. When you visualize with emotion, your subconscious accepts the image as reality and begins directing your behavior to make it true. You start noticing ideas, people, and coincidences that move you closer to your vision. That's not luck, that's alignment. Prosperous people also practice intentional focus. They protect their attention because they understand that focus is currency. Where attention goes, energy flows, and results grow. If you spend your day scrolling through negativity, complaining about others, or worrying about what might go wrong, you're feeding the scarcity loop. But if you dedicate focused time each day to your goals, personal growth, and creativity, you strengthen your prosperity loop. The habit of focused attention multiplies results faster than any strategy. Equally important is the habit of self-discipline, not as restriction, but as self-respect. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, you reinforce your inner authority. You prove to your subconscious that you can be trusted. That builds confidence, the foundation of all prosperity. Whether it's committing to your morning routine, staying consistent with your goals, or managing your money wisely, discipline is how you tell the universe, I'm ready for more. Abundance responds to responsibility. The prosperity habit loop also includes how you manage energy, not just time. Successful people understand that their state determines their results. They prioritize rest, movement, and mental clarity. They meditate, exercise, and spend time in environments that recharge them. When your energy is high, your creativity flows effortlessly. When you're drained, even simple tasks feel impossible. Protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's strategic. You can't attract prosperity from exhaustion, you attract it from alignment. Equally transformative is the habit of generosity. Every act of giving, whether time, knowledge, or kindness, reinforces the truth of abundance. When you give freely, you tell your subconscious that there's always more to share. That simple shift dissolves fear and activates flow. Prosperous people give not because they have excess, but because they understand circulation. Money, ideas, love, and opportunities must move to multiply. The more you give, the more the universe trusts you with. Finally, the prosperity habit loop requires reflection. Take time each evening to review your day without judgment. Ask yourself, where did I act from abundance today? Where did I act from fear? Awareness turns mistakes into lessons and repetition into mastery. Each reflection strengthens your ability to respond, not react, to choose growth over stagnation. When you combine these small daily habits, gratitude, visualization, focus, discipline, energy management, generosity, reflection, something profound happens. You begin to embody prosperity. It's no longer a distant goal, it becomes your natural rhythm. You walk differently, speak differently, decide differently. Opportunities start flowing toward you because you've tuned your vibration to receive them. That's the real secret. Prosperity is not a result. It's a routine. It's the outcome of hundreds of small decisions that honor abundance instead of fear. When you repeat those decisions daily, your subconscious rewires itself into a new identity, one that naturally attracts success, wealth, and joy. You stop chasing prosperity because you've become the kind of person who magnetizes it. Topic 7. The power of belief, rewriting the stories that define your reality. Every thought you think and every action you take is filtered through one invisible but powerful system: your beliefs. They are the silent architects of your reality. You don't see them, but they shape everything you experience. What you believe about yourself, about money, about success, about life, becomes the blueprint that your subconscious follows. If you believe you're destined to struggle, you'll subconsciously sabotage opportunities. If you believe you're capable, worthy, and supported by life, you'll naturally attract the circumstances that confirm it. Belief is the foundation of manifestation because you cannot experience a reality that contradicts your deepest convictions. Most people don't realize that their beliefs aren't facts. They're inherited stories. From childhood, you absorbed messages from parents, teachers, culture, religion, and media. Some were empowering, others weren't. You may have been told, "You have to work hard for everything. Money doesn't come easily. People like us don't get rich." Or, "It's selfish to want too much." Those phrases became scripts that now play automatically in your subconscious mind. You repeat them without realizing, and your life mirrors them perfectly. To change your results, you must first rewrite the stories running in the background. Beliefs act like filters on your perception. Imagine two people standing side by side watching the same sunset. One feels awe and gratitude, the other complains it's almost dark. The difference isn't the view, it's the filter. In the same way, your beliefs filter every experience. If you believe the world is supportive, you'll notice synchronicities, helpers, and opportunities. If you believe it's against you, you'll notice obstacles and proof of struggle. The mind always looks for evidence to confirm its assumptions. That's why beliefs are self-reinforcing. They don't just shape what you see, they decide what you can see. The most powerful step you can take toward prosperity is to become aware of your limiting beliefs. Write them down. Question them. Where did this belief come from? Is it absolutely true? Who would I be without it? The moment you question a belief, it begins to lose its power. You start to see that most of your limitations aren't real. They're inherited illusions. And once you see through them, you can replace them with beliefs that serve your vision instead of sabotage it. Rewriting beliefs isn't about pretending or forcing positivity. It's about upgrading the operating system of your mind. You can't run a new life on old software. Affirmations, visualization, and repetition are tools for installing new beliefs, but emotion is what seals them in. When you feel the truth of a new belief, it embeds itself in your subconscious faster than logic ever could. For instance, instead of simply saying, "I am successful," evoke the emotion of confidence, peace, and gratitude that true success would bring. Feel it in your body. Let your nervous system learn that vibration. When your body believes, your life begins to follow. Belief also has a direct link to neuroscience. Your brain's reticular activating system, RAS, filters billions of pieces of information every day. It decides what's relevant based on what you believe. If you believe "I can't find opportunities," your RAS will literally filter them out because it wants to keep you right. But if you reprogram it with a belief like "opportunities are everywhere," your brain starts to highlight them. You begin to meet the right people, notice timing, and connect the dots faster. The opportunities were always there. Your old beliefs just made you blind to them. One of the strongest indicators of belief is language. Pay attention to the words you use daily. Do you say things like, "I can't," "It's hard," "I'm unlucky," "That's impossible"? Each phrase reinforces a limiting story. Change your language and you start changing your identity. Say, "I'm learning," "I'm improving," "I'm open to possibilities," "I'm becoming more aligned." These subtle linguistic shifts send new commands to your subconscious. Over time, they rewire your mental patterns, turning doubt into determination and resistance into flow. Belief also determines how you respond to failure. People who see failure as evidence of inadequacy stop trying. Those who believe failure is feedback use it as fuel. The difference is internal narrative. If your belief says every setback is a step forward, failure becomes part of your growth, not proof of defeat. That mindset keeps you moving, learning, and expanding, and prosperity always follows expansion. The wealthiest, happiest people aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones whose beliefs make them unstoppable. You can't outperform your self-image. If deep down you believe you're not worthy of success, no amount of effort will compensate. You'll find ways to sabotage progress, missing opportunities, undercharging your value, delaying decisions. But when you update that belief, when you know you're worthy, you align with the frequency of abundance. The universe mirrors back your self-perception. Believe you deserve more, and life reorganizes to reflect it. Ultimately, belief is not a static state. It's a choice you reinforce daily. Every thought, every emotion, every word you speak either strengthens your old beliefs or builds your new ones. The process takes time, but it's worth everything, because once you change what you believe about yourself, everything else transforms effortlessly. Remember, your beliefs are not who you are. They're just stories you've practiced for too long. You have the power to write new ones. Believe in abundance, and you'll see evidence of it everywhere. Believe in possibility, and life will open doors that logic can't explain. Believe in yourself, truly, deeply, consistently, and the world will rise to meet that belief. Because in the end, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe you deserve. Topic 8. Embodying success. Acting, thinking, and feeling like the person you want to become. You can't wait to become successful before you start acting like a successful person. You have to embody success first. This is one of the most profound truths of manifestation and prosperity. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align with the frequency of success, you naturally attract circumstances that match that vibration. Most people do the opposite. They wait for proof before believing, for results before feeling confident, for validation before acting boldly. But the universe responds to energy, not waiting. Embodying success means living today as the person you aspire to be, before any external evidence appears. Imagine for a moment the most confident, successful, abundant version of yourself. How would that version of you think in the morning? How would they handle challenges, make decisions, talk to others, invest their time, treat their health, or manage their money? That version already exists as a potential reality, but to experience it, you must align with it now. Every small action that mirrors that future self brings you closer to it. When you think like them, speak like them, and act like them consistently, your subconscious begins to accept that identity as real. And once the mind believes it, the world reorganizes around it. Embodying success is not about pretending or faking confidence. It's about matching the emotional and behavioral signature of the person you're becoming. You're not playing a role. You're activating a dormant version of yourself. You're stepping into a higher level of consciousness where abundance, discipline, and peace already exist. This version of you doesn't chase opportunities. They create them. They don't react to fear. They respond with clarity. They don't wait for luck. They generate momentum through consistent energy and intention. The secret is emotional alignment. When you feel abundant, you magnetize abundance. When you feel confident, you attract situations that confirm your confidence. That's why it's crucial to cultivate the feeling of success now. Don't wait until you have more money, recognition, or results. Start generating the emotion first. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. It only knows vibration. So, when you feel successful before you see success, your vibration aligns with the experiences that match that emotion. You're tuning your inner frequency to the reality you want to receive. One of the fastest ways to embody success is to shift your self-talk. Stop describing yourself by your past limitations. Replace phrases like, "I'm trying to," "I hope to," or "I wish I could," with "I am becoming," "I am learning," "I am creating." These small linguistic shifts retrain your subconscious to see progress instead of lack. Speak about your goals as if they're unfolding, not as if they're distant dreams. The mind believes repetition. Keep affirming the identity you want until it becomes automatic. Another powerful practice is behavioral alignment. Ask yourself throughout the day, is what I'm doing right now aligned with my highest self? Every choice, what you watch, how you spend your time, who you associate with, what you feed your mind and body, either strengthens or weakens your alignment. Successful people don't waste energy proving their worth or explaining their goals. They live in congruence with their values. Embodying success means living with integrity, doing what aligns with your vision, even when no one is watching. That alignment creates inner peace, and inner peace radiates outward as confidence. Visualization helps integrate this embodiment on a subconscious level. Before you sleep or after you wake up, close your eyes and see yourself living as the successful version of you. Feel the sensations, the calmness, the gratitude, the certainty. See yourself speaking with confidence, solving problems with ease, making decisions from abundance, not fear. The more vividly you imagine and feel it, the faster your subconscious adopts that identity. Over time, you stop visualizing success as something separate from you. It becomes who you are. An often overlooked aspect of embodying success is posture and presence. Your body language communicates with your mind. When you stand tall, breathe deeply, and move with purpose, your physiology signals confidence to your brain. Studies show that posture can immediately shift hormones related to power and stress. So, act the part, not to impress others, but to train your nervous system to stay calm, assertive, and grounded in every situation. The more you carry yourself like someone who belongs in abundance, the faster abundance feels natural to you. Remember, success isn't only about achievement, it's about identity. When you embody success, you stop chasing outcomes and start living in a state of alignment. You don't wait for motivation, your habits create it. You don't seek validation, your actions validate your worth. You don't depend on circumstances, you shape them with your energy. That's what separates people who attract prosperity effortlessly from those who struggle despite working hard. It's not effort alone that creates results, it's embodiment. So start today. Dress like success, speak like success, plan your day like success, walk, think, and feel like success. Not in arrogance, but in awareness. The awareness that you are already enough, already capable, already abundant. When you embody success, you dissolve the illusion of distance between who you are and who you want to be. You realize they're the same person, separated only by belief and consistency. Success, at its core, is an identity shift. The moment you stop hoping and start being, the outer world begins to reflect that change. Because the universe doesn't respond to your potential, it responds to your embodiment. When you become the vibration of prosperity, success stops being a destination. It becomes your natural state of being. Topic 9. The energy of action. Turning intention into tangible results. Every dream begins in the mind, but it's action that transforms it into reality. Intention without movement is like a seed that never leaves the packet, full of potential but lifeless. The universe responds to energy in motion, not to ideas that remain trapped in thought. You can visualize, affirm, and feel all you want, but until your intentions are matched with consistent, aligned action, prosperity remains an unfulfilled concept. True success is not about doing more. It's about doing the right things consistently, with belief and direction. Action is energy made visible. Every time you act, you send a powerful message to your subconscious mind and to the universe. I'm ready. I'm serious. I trust the process. That energy of readiness is magnetic. It signals that you're no longer waiting for permission to prosper. You're co-creating your future. The irony is that most people wait for motivation before acting, not realizing that action creates motivation. Once you take the first step, momentum takes over. Energy expands through movement. But not all action leads to prosperity. Many people stay busy their entire lives but never move forward. They confuse activity with progress. Prosperity doesn't respond to frantic motion. It responds to aligned motion, action born from clarity and conviction. When your intentions are pure and your purpose is clear, even small actions have exponential power. But when your energy is scattered, acting out of fear, desperation, or doubt, your results will mirror that confusion. Aligned action feels grounded, confident, and inspired. It flows naturally instead of forcing. The key to aligned action is emotional congruence. Before you act, check your vibration. Ask yourself, am I doing this out of fear or out of faith? Fearful actions may bring temporary results, but they often drain your energy and reinforce scarcity. Faith-based actions, on the other hand, are expansive. They generate momentum and invite support. When your emotion and action are in harmony, every effort multiplies. You become a magnet for synchronicities, those moments when things seem to magically fall into place, not by luck, but by resonance. Think of your goals as a bridge between thought and manifestation. Intention builds the design, action builds the structure. You can't think your way across the bridge, you must walk it. Each step, no matter how small, reinforces your belief. Every email you send, every idea you develop, every habit you maintain, it all tells your subconscious that you're living in alignment with success. The more you act, the more your identity solidifies around that pattern. Eventually, taking action becomes effortless because it matches who you've become. Many people sabotage their own progress by waiting for the perfect time. But the perfect time never arrives because the mind always finds another reason to delay. Perfectionism is just fear wearing a mask of preparation. Prosperity requires courage, not certainty. You don't need to see the whole staircase, you just need to take the next step. Every act of courage strengthens your confidence, and that confidence becomes your compass. The universe rewards movement. It doesn't meet you at the start line, it meets you halfway. Here's the paradox of manifestation. You don't have to know how everything will work out. You just have to move as if it already will. When you act from that vibration of certainty, doors open that logic couldn't predict. The right people appear, resources emerge, ideas connect. That's because action anchors intention into the physical world. You're translating thought energy into form. Every time you take a step, you close the gap between imagination and manifestation. To sustain this rhythm, build rituals of momentum. Start your mornings by taking one action that brings you closer to your vision. Even something small. Make the call, write the proposal, record the video. Each task you complete sends a signal of momentum to your brain, releasing dopamine and reinforcing a sense of accomplishment. Those micro-victories build massive confidence over time. Consistency, not intensity, creates results. A small step repeated daily beats a giant leap attempted once. Action also purifies intention. Sometimes you don't know what's right until you move. Motion reveals direction. You can't steer a parked car. The wheel only responds when you start driving. Likewise, the universe can only guide you once you're in motion. Don't overthink every move. Take one, then adjust. Progress is a feedback loop, not a straight line. Failure is not a stop sign, it's information. Each attempt teaches you what works and what doesn't. Prosperity grows through experimentation, not hesitation. The most prosperous people in the world are not the ones who never doubt. They're the ones who act despite doubt. They understand that clarity often comes after action, not before it. They don't wait to feel ready. They move until readiness appears. That's why action is so powerful. It transforms fear into focus. The moment you move, fear loses its grip because it can't coexist with momentum. Remember this simple principle: energy rewards movement. Life expands through those who dare to act. When you combine intention, emotion, and consistent effort, you tap into a creative force that bends reality in your favor. You no longer chase success, you embody it through motion. So stop waiting, start moving. Take one small, inspired step today. Don't underestimate it. Every empire began with a single decision. Every success story with one action that said, "I'm ready." Now, with the energy you put into motion now becomes the prosperity that meets you tomorrow. Because action is not just what you do, it's who you become in the process. Topic 10. The prosperity state, living as a magnet for abundance. There comes a moment in your journey towards success when you realize something profound. Prosperity is not something you chase, it's something you embody. It's not about waiting for money to appear, opportunities to unfold, or the right moment to arrive. It's about stepping into a state of being where abundance feels natural, effortless, and inevitable. The prosperity state isn't a destination, it's a vibration, a mindset, a way of living that turns everything you touch into expansion. When you reach this level, prosperity stops being an external goal and becomes an internal frequency you carry with you everywhere you go. Living in the prosperity state means you no longer measure success by what you have, but by who you are becoming. It's about waking up each morning with a deep sense of trust. Trust in yourself, trust in life, trust in the invisible rhythm that connects every thought, emotion, and event in your reality. You begin to see that everything you experience, good or bad, is part of your growth toward higher consciousness. Challenges are no longer punishments, they're invitations to evolve. Failures stop being endings, they become transitions into something better. In the prosperity state, nothing is wasted. Everything serves your expansion. When you operate from this mindset, scarcity, doubt, and fear start losing power. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. You understand that the energy you emit is constantly shaping the world around you. Your thoughts become your tools, your emotions become your compass, and your habits become your architecture. You no longer ask, "When will I succeed?" because you know success is already unfolding. You're no longer striving, you're aligning. Prosperity begins to flow to you with grace because you've become an energetic match for it. People who live in the prosperity state exude calm confidence. They don't compete or compare. They collaborate. They don't chase opportunities. They attract them. They understand that abundance multiplies through gratitude and generosity. The more they give, time, attention, ideas, kindness, the more they receive. They live in a cycle of circulation, not accumulation. This mindset creates an atmosphere of ease. You can feel it when you're around them, a magnetic serenity that silently communicates, "Everything is always working in my favor." That's the vibration of prosperity. To live in this state, you must cultivate emotional mastery. Prosperity doesn't mean you never feel fear or sadness. It means you no longer let those emotions control your vibration. When challenges arise, you acknowledge them, but choose to respond from faith, not panic. You remind yourself that you've overcome before, and you will again. This emotional awareness keeps your energy steady. It prevents temporary circumstances from pulling you out of alignment. Prosperous people know that how they feel determines how they flow, so they protect their inner state as their most valuable currency. Living in the prosperity state also means embracing gratitude as a way of life. Gratitude is not something you practice occasionally. It's how you breathe abundance into every moment. When you give thanks for what you already have, you're telling the universe, "I'm ready for more." Gratitude transforms ordinary experiences into miracles because it shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's thriving. Even in difficult times, a grateful heart finds lessons, strength, and beauty. And because energy follows attention, the more you notice abundance, the more abundance multiplies. Another essential quality of the prosperity state is detachment, not from goals, but from outcomes. Detachment doesn't mean indifference, it means trust. You still take inspired action, but you release the need to control how or when results arrive. You move forward knowing that the universe is orchestrating details beyond your awareness. This mindset frees you from anxiety and restores peace. When you detach, you stop blocking flow with worry. You give space for miracles to happen, often in ways you couldn't have planned. Prosperity loves freedom, not resistance. In the prosperity state, you also redefine wealth. You begin to understand that true wealth is multidimensional. It includes health, peace of mind, purpose, relationships, time, joy, and contribution. Money becomes just one expression of abundance, not the ultimate goal. You stop measuring success solely by numbers in a bank account and start measuring it by how aligned, fulfilled, and impactful you feel. That's when money begins to flow more freely, because you're no longer chasing it from lack, but attracting it from wholeness. Living as a magnet for abundance means you show up differently in the world. You listen deeply, speak with intention, and act from integrity. You trust your intuition because it becomes sharper and more reliable the more you honor it. You stop forcing opportunities and instead create space for the right ones to emerge. You move with patience and precision, calm yet decisive. You start to see life as a creative partnership between your intention and the universe's orchestration. Every coincidence becomes confirmation that you're on the right path. This state of consciousness is not reserved for a few enlightened people. It's available to anyone willing to align with it. You don't have to earn it, prove yourself worthy of it, or struggle for it. You simply allow it. The prosperity state has always been within you, waiting for recognition. The more you nurture it through your thoughts, emotions, and daily habits, the more natural it becomes. You begin to feel abundance, not as a goal, but as your baseline. A quiet, steady confidence that you are supported, guided, and capable of creating anything you desire. And here's the ultimate truth. When you live in the prosperity state, you inspire others to rise too. Your energy becomes a mirror that reminds people of their own power. You stop teaching through words and start teaching through presence. That's how prosperity spreads. Not through competition, but through connection. You become a beacon of abundance in a world that's forgotten its infinite nature. So breathe in this truth. You are already abundant. You are already enough. You are already aligned with infinite potential. The more you remember this, the more effortlessly prosperity flows to you and through you. Life begins to mirror your inner wealth. Opportunities expand, relationships deepen, peace becomes constant. You don't need to chase what's already within you. You are the source. You are the magnet. You are the prosperity you've been seeking all along. If this message touched something inside you, don't just let it fade away. Act on it. Every small action you take strengthens your alignment with prosperity. If you felt inspired, if something clicked, it means this message was meant for you. Let that energy keep moving forward. Like this video to keep this vibration alive and to tell the algorithm that you're ready for more abundance and success in your life. Leave your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. Share this video with a friend who's ready to step into a higher level of prosperity and mindset transformation. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the Success and Prosperity Code channel so you don't miss the next transmissions of clarity, motivation, and inner power. Stay aligned, stay grateful, and keep expanding. Because prosperity begins the moment you decide to live as if it's already yours.